able
This
to hear me,
conference
right?
will now be recorded.
Please respond. Vaishali, Kalyani, and Neha, you guys able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yeah, thank you. So just to recap yesterday's session, what we discussed about the basic definitions about what is software testing and why it is useful and why it is important and how the client and the customers are benefit from our testing. Okay, and we discussed about how the testing process will be there once the testing comes into the place. So we discussed all these things as part of yesterday's session. So just to start today I'm going to explain about the software development life cycle. Let me know when you can see the screen.
Yeah, I can see.
Okay, sure. Yeah, thank you. So what is software development life cycle? Why it came, why we are discussing today about the software development life cycle? Means to implement a software, whether it is big or small, we need to have a planned phases or the activities, right? So that is the reason in the name itself you can see that software development life cycle means to develop a software, what are the phases and what are the activities involved in it. Okay, if you can see that, first of all, analysis. First phase is requirement analysis, second phase is planning, third phase is design, fourth phase is development, fifth phase is testing, sixth phase is maintenance. So all these 6 phases or the activities are being involved in to implement one software. So a SDLC model will demonstrate how all development activities will be carried out for implementing a software. So, based on the size of the project, time availability, cost, and resources availability, this particular SDLC model will be decided. Okay. So, all SDLC activities may be carried out for the entire project, or these activities may be carried out module by module. Okay, module by module in the sense activity by activity or phase by phase or module by module. I mean, what are the terminology which I'm using, this that is the same meaning. Okay, so let's come one by one. First phase, gathering requirements. Okay, during this analysis phase, gathering requirements. So we business analyst is the person. Okay, he will sit with the client and he will gather all the requirements from the client. Okay, client or end user, both refers the same. So what he will say, business analyst is a person who is subject matter expert in the taking in requirements. Like for example, our application is insurance. Okay, why only business analyst people are involved in this phase means he has the product knowledge, he has the domain knowledge. So based on the previous experience, he can also expect and he can also suggest the client to have the proper requirements, to get the requirements from the client. Business analyst is the person, first he will be starting in this analysis phase. Okay, he will gather all the requirements from the client. Okay, and then he will prepare one business requirement specification document. In the document we can have all the business related requirements and what the client was expecting. Okay, and in terms of insurance, in terms of today's daily digitalization world, what the client was expecting and how the application he is expecting, and everything he would be explaining it to the business analyst. So based on the discussion only, business analyst will prepare business requirements for specification. So in the once our testing course was completed technically, I'm going to provide one live project. Okay, in that I'm going to provide BRS also, means business requirement specification document. You can see what are all the contents are involved in it, and more of into that that document is technically about the business knowledge only, what the client was expecting and what are the drawbacks which he has observed in the existing system and everything. Existing in the sense, for example, client uh, client has worked for 5 years for a company, okay, and his contract period was completed in the A company, and then he shifted to the B company, and whatever the drawbacks and what are the observation which he has seen in the A company, then he will discuss with the same thing with the B company, because for the first 5 years he worked on it and he is not that much satisfied with the work or the results while working with the A company. So that is the reason whatever he has faced, the drawbacks and everything, he will share with the B company. So all those requirements, all those why we were doing, what he is expecting, and on what basis, and what is the idea of implementing this software, what is the idea of implementing this application, who are benefited on this application, everything is getting discussed in this analysis phase. So business analyst is the person, he can gather all the requirements in this phase. And then next phase is planning. In this planning phase, mainly the project manager or the test manager will be involved in this planning phase, so that after analyzing the requirements which was gathered by business analyst team, these people what they will do, mainly they will be preparing a project plan. Project plan in the sense, project plan means how, when the project has to be started, when the project has to be ended. A high level plan would be prepared by the project manager in this phase. Means even if we want to construct a house, we'll be going to one architect. Means to get a blueprint how my house would be. Here the living room, here the master bedroom room, here the balcony, and here the washrooms. How we can get the blueprint of that. So like that also they would be preparing one plan. Our project managers and test managers will be involved in this phase particularly. Once the planning was completed, and then this is the third phase where we will be entering into the design. So here generally IT architecture guys, means technically who are sound in that particular technology, IT architecture people, they would be involving in this by analyzing this analysis document and the proper planning. Then they will decide in this which technology has to be implemented for this application. Okay, and how could be the data flow diagrams, like just to, for example, if you are developing any e-commerce application, so the people has to understand, right? So they would be giving a data flow diagrams in a high level. Okay, this screen should like this, and this screen should be having the prototype like that, just a dummy application, just to have the estimates and efforts. Okay, so in this phase, the IT architecture people would be preparing high level design and the low level design also, where they would be creating a project architecture, so that people can refer those architecture, just like just like the blueprint of the house, how it could be, so that people can understand the application very easily. And about the data flow diagrams also they will design, so that people and the team can understand who all are referring the document. They can understand the application in a very high level manner. And also they would be mentioning about the technical specifications. What is the database we were using, what is the web application, and what is the whether which development language we have to use, what is the reporting tool we have to use, whether all types of testings are required or not. Everything in a technically in this design phase would be decided by the architecture team. We can call them as analyst also, IT analyst. So once this design phase was completed, so it was moved to the development. In this phase, the developers would be involved, development team will be involved. So where the database team members as well as the application team members will be involved in this phase, and they would be based on the instructions as given by the IT architecture or the analyst team. From this design phase, they would be creating a source code in the sense, in the yesterday itself I have showed you, like source code in the sense we can refer this. the code which they were implementing this one. Okay, so based on the design, based on the specifications which they got it from the design phase, they will prepare the source code, and this source code will be reviewed by the subject matter specialist on subject matter experts who are senior most people in this development phase. For example, if we were discussing about that insurance application, so that insurance application has to be built on Java language. In that way, based on this, by referring those requirement specification documents and the technology specification documents, development team would start their coding activities, and they will prepare the source code, means they will complete their developmental activities. Once the development team has been completed their activity, and then it would be moved to the testing phase. So where we as a testing team coming to this picture, okay, as per the requirements specified, we would be testing on the application, whether it could be the functional testing or the non-functional testing, and combination of functional testing and non-functional testing, it's nothing but a system testing. Okay, so once the system testing was completed, and we would be giving that the system testing to the client, where he would be conducting user acceptance testing in his place, and once he was satisfied about it, then he will move that application to the maintenance in the sense customer or production support people will be involved in this phase majorly. If any other maintenance activities has to be done for this application, they would be taking care of it. Once this maintenance phase also completed, then that application is good to go ahead to release in the market. This is how a software to develop, to implement a software, these are all the factory activities or the phases has to be gone through. Means hand by hand, one after other, all the things has to be done. And it's not about the testing team, all the technology people and all the people has been involved in their respective phases. And coming to the testing member, right from analysis phase onwards, our test manager will be involved in the discussions, so that based on his prior experience, if he has any observation or a defect has been identified, defect in the sense during the discussion also, if something was communicated in the meetings and something was written wrongly in the document, in project related documents, okay, he will be reviewing that project related documents, and he is the person based on his prior experience, he can report it to the business analyst people or to the higher authorities or the leadership team, so that our goal also, cost of fixing defects will be very less when we identify that incorrect things during early ages of the software development life cycle, right? So that is the reason it is very recommended to have to involve our testing team from the first initial phase of the software development life cycle. This is how it will be. I think you guys are up to clear till now. Please respond so that I can move to other topic. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. Kalyani, could you please respond? And Shyam? Okay, fine. Thank you. Thank you, Vaishali. So in these SDLC models, we have two different types of models are there. One is sequential or sequential model, as well as the iterative models. Why we are doing this software development lifecycle models? Based on the cost, based on the resources availability and the time, our leadership team will be deciding which model we have to go to implement a software. All this SDLC model, how a software has to be implemented, it's good to have that knowledge, so that you people can understand which phase after which phase is coming, so that you would be understanding the complete hierarchy. That is the reason I am explaining the software development life cycle. What are the company you go, what are the project you have allocated, this is the standard and the industry standard development life cycle. This is the 100% brand mark here. Okay. Yeah. Coming to the software development life cycle, we have two types of models. One is sequential model and the second one is incremental or iterative model. Today we will discuss about the sequential models. Under sequential models, we have waterfall model and V model. So sequential models are suitable for small size of projects, whereas incremental models are suitable for big size of projects. So what is the waterfall model here? See, if you can see, just now we discussed about this SDLC activities, right? Here also in this waterfall model also, every phase will be done one after other. After requirement analysis, design will be done. Once the design was completed, implementation, code implementation will be done. Once the developmental activity has been completed, testing will come into the picture. After testing, deployment will come into the picture. After that, maintenance. So as a series of flows are happening one after other, and this diagram looks like a waterfall, right? So that's the reason this model name came into picture as waterfall model. And here, after during in the testing phase only, we were verifying and validating our requirements as part of test execution. And what is test execution, what is test case, everything I'm going to explain in upcoming classes. But for now, try to understand the concept. These are the things uh, you have to understand, so that in next day after this course, if you are deploying to any of the project, you need to know which model your company or your project was implementing, so that you can understand it. So as the series of the activities are happening one after other. So that's the reason we can call this as waterfall model. And see how, on what basis of projects this is well suited means, if the requirements are not changing frequently and the application is very simple and it is not very critical, and the project deadlines are very short and the requirements are very clear, okay, and the technology and the tools are not dynamic and they are stable, and the resources are available and trained, then only we will go with the waterfall model. And one more important point, we are not the decision makers which model we have to go for. This is truly completely about the company management and also the leadership team and also the head level management team. We are not the decision makers, because to develop a software or anything, I told you, right, the time, the cost, resources and the budget, everything, by keeping everything factors into consideration. One second. Yeah, an SDLC model will be decided by the management team. So this is the waterfall model. Just to recap, this model is suitable for small size of projects where the requirements are very clear. And in this model, all SDLC activities means this one, software development lifecycle activities, will be carried out one after other for entire project. As the size of application is very small and also as the requirements are very clear, only validation means the testing, verification and validation will be enough for this. So verification may not be required because the requirements are very clear, as the size of the application is very small. So as the flow of activities looks like a waterfall, so this model is titled as waterfall model. Means here in this type of model, our testing team is not getting involved in any of the activities. Only once the development has been completed, at the time of our testing phase only we were involving it. So, and also if the project is very simple and there was a very short time to complete it, and there was no change in the requirements, then only people will go and they will prefer for waterfall model. And going forward, while explaining other models also, you will be able to understand which model is better and why people are choosing for other models also. Whatever the model is chosen by our high-level management team, it's based on the main thing: cost, trained resources, and the time and the budget. Mainly these four factors are taken into consideration, and they will take the decision. So this is up to waterfall model. And as I told, under sequential model, we do have other model, which is V model. And this V model also comes under sequential model only. So this V model is best suitable for small size of projects only, where the requirements are not clear. In this model, every development activity will be followed by a test to find the defects as soon as possible. That is, both verification and validation are applicable for this V model. As the flow of activities looks like a V, so this model is entitled as a V model. See, in this phase, requirement analysis is there. So here, under requirement analysis, business analyst prepare one project level document, which is business requirement document. Okay, here our test manager will be involved. He will review this document. If everything is fine, then it will go to high level design document. And in this design process also, he will review the document. Okay, and after this, in this low level document also, every here also the project related information or each and everything will be reviewed one after other. So by involved by involving our testing team from the initial stage of this SDLC, if any defects or if any observations are found, we would be discussing at this phase only. So that is the main purpose of having the V model. Whereas in the waterfall model, directly we were involving only in this testing phase. We were not getting involved in all these phases right from the first phase. That is the main difference between the V model. And this V model also best suitable for the small projects only. If the requirements are not clear, sometimes the client is not very clear about his requirements. In that case, a small chunk of data means, for example, 100 requirements are planned for this project. So 10, 10, 10, just as an example, just to demonstrate, I was saying, so 10 requirements would be taken by the business analyst team. So they would be preparing one business requirement document. Means some small chunk of data we were taking in the form of requirements. So that would be reviewed by our test manager. Okay, and also based on that only, next set of people, high level design, and it would be prepared by the IT architecture team. They will also reviewing the requirements, whether it was correct or not, how feasible it is, everything based on their prior experience on the domain, on the application, they would be referring those documents. So the early we detect the defect, the early we detect the issue, the cost of fixing defect or issue will be reduced. The impact on the application also, it will be reduced. And the client also will be very happy with our observation, and he will also get the sufficient confidence on us. So that is the main purpose of over waterfall model when coming to the V model. So the left side of the activities in this SDLC, okay, and coming to this right side, it will be like a STLC, software testing lifecycle. I would be what is software testing lifecycle? This is very, very important. Once in upcoming sessions, I am going to describe about it. So as you can, why this model is entitled as V model means, this figure looks like V model, and also each and every phase is here followed by a review, means the verification. Okay, whether this we received one requirement document, and we are just verifying as per the discussion as per the meeting, whether discussed topics are mentioned in this document or not. Our test manager and high level management people will be referring that. So that's the reason cost of fixing defect will be very low in V model compared to the waterfall model. So, and our high level management people also deciding based on the time and the requirements and the budget and also the resources. Hope you got it right, the difference between the waterfall model and the V model. Both the models are well suitable for the small projects, small span of projects only. But based on, means here the activity, our testing activity was involved from the first phase onwards. So that is the main difference here. Hope you guys are clear here. Please let me know so that again I can repeat it the same. Vaishali, Kalyani, Shyam, please respond. Yeah, thank you, Vaishali. So hope you guys are clear about it. All these models are not related to the only software testing. Even if you are working for other technologies also, we should be aware about what model our project was working on it, so that you would be knowing your nature of work also, your responsibilities also. Suppose if you are working in a project where the waterfall model they were implementing, your job role is to work only after the development phase was completed. Okay, and suppose we have allocated to a project where the project was implementing on V model, then you would be involved in this type of meetings and everything, so that you would be getting more exposure on the calls and the meetings, how the people are talking and how they were managing, how they are talking with the client. All those interpersonal skills will be developed. So that's the reason it's good to have the awareness on which model you are working on that. Hope you guys are clear about it. I already prepared one material, so you please share your email IDs to your point of contact to whom you have contacted with to join this um, course. So I will send you the material, so that what are the topic which I was explaining on that particular session. So after the session, if you go through that material, it would be a value advantage, and also you can next prepared for the next session also. So tomorrow we are going to discuss about the incremental models. Guys, speak up. If you have any other doubts, please let me know. I'll try to answer it. Hope you guys are clear about today's session. Please respond so that we can end for today's session. Yeah, thank you, Vaishali. Just for today and tomorrow, for a couple of the days, I will be taking till 45 minutes only. Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
ma'am.
I'm
Okay.
ending the session. Yeah. Thank you, Vaishali. Thank you all. Bye. Have a good day.